welcome one and all to the greatest puzzle talk show. If you've kept up with the series so far, you're probably asking yourself, why is the homeless kid introducing the show? Our fearless leader and our usual host, Tone, had to be at our Morristown location today due to a very large group of teachers and elementary students playing our freak show game. So in his place, you have me, Mike, introducing the first half of the show. If we're lucky, Tone will be joining us here towards the middle of the show. But fear not, because I'm not entirely alone, and I won't be just talking to you guys for an hour, as I'm joined by the lovely Christina.
Woo!
Say hi to the people, Christina.
Hi, people.
And now here's the both of us. We've got an awesome setup list of topics, and towards the end, we're going to be talking about a couple of really cool things we have going on. So stick around for the whole show, and yeah, without further ado, we're just going to hop right into it to our first topic, Construction Escape Room Recruitment Tool. Encore Electronic is an independent contractor based out of Lakewood, Colorado, and has a new approach to getting teenagers into trades like electricity or construction. A mobile escape room entitled Exit the Room, Enter Career made its way to a high school in Denver, Colorado, to engage and educate kids in electrical trade. In the escape room, you find plugs, outlets, switches, lamps, all thoughtfully chosen to get kids comfortable and curious enough to participate and learn. And when I say mobile escape room, by the way, I don't mean like an escape room app or anything like that. What they did was they built an escape room inside of like a truck and brought it to a school for kids to like learn electricity and stuff. And what I have here in like the bullet points is, can it be effective? Now I know for me personally, growing up, when it came to like getting into like trades as far as like electricity, HVAC, plumbing and stuff like that, we had like a vocational school that you could go to in the middle of the day to like learn about that kind of stuff, even though like I personally didn't know that it was offered there. I had no idea, because they said you want to go to Votech, and everybody went for like computer programming or like hairstyling or something like that. So never like said like, oh, I'm going to Votech for HVAC or anything like that. So this is really cool. I think this is a great way to like get kids into like different trades and stuff like that, especially living in a day and age where higher education seems to be the answer for a lot of life's problems anyway, furthering your career, etc. What do you think?
It definitely seems like a good idea. I mean, it's a very interactive way to get kids engaging with the materials, and it seems like a good way to teach them something new in a fun way.
I know I personally, like, when we were building Freak Show, I had no, like, knowledge of electricity or wiring and anything like that, and I was terrified to touch anything that had to do with any wiring. And luckily our engineer Chris Schwartz was there to help me kind of figure out how simple it was.
So teach people by building escape rooms.
Yeah, basically.
New venture.
The next thing, hey, how do you want to learn electricity and engineering? Come build our next escape room for us. And it's really cool that they like actually built an actual escape room, because I feel like if this was a mobile app, it's definitely one way to get kids interested, but I feel like a lot of kids would still be too nervous to want to...
I mean, it also depends. Like, a lot of companies have been throwing the word escape room on a lot of different stuff, so it also depends how much of an escape room it actually is and how much it is just interacting with like electrical equipment and stuff like that, and versus actually trying to solve your way out of it and being presented with these challenges.
I went to the actual website where it was posted up itself, and what they said was that they had just like put like different like pieces of equipment like thoughtfully throughout the truck. I don't actually know if it was like puzzles like that.
So I mean, if you're like, it definitely can be done, but it'd be very difficult to do.
I mean, possibly. If I knew more about just kind of electricity in itself, I know that positive goes to negative. That's what I learned in our Freak Show build.
Learn you connect the red wires to the red wires, black wires to the black wires.
Exactly. This
blue
is probably
to blue, yellow to yellow.
This probably goes a little more depth, and I wonder how much they actually fit into there, because from the picture, and this is the picture that I pulled from the website and the article, you can see it says Encore Electronic on the picture itself. I don't actually know how big in dimension it is.
So it's construction and electricity?
Encore Electric is a independent electricity company, so I think it's more towards electricians, yeah, but construction and electricity kind of go hand in hand.
Well, yeah, you need it to build.
Exactly, so I guess it might encompass all of it. They didn't go too deep into it. And it's definitely a great way for specifically teenagers to get involved into the trade. I can't imagine going to an elementary school with something like this and getting kids.
Please don't introduce this to elementary school children. They will electrocute themselves.
It seems like a really clever idea going to a high school to do it, because you have in high school, say if someone wanted to come in and talk to you about electronics or electricity, it'd probably be 9 times out of 10 it'd be like a boring PowerPoint presentation. Yeah. Just kind of, okay, A goes to B, click, B goes to C, click, Bueller, just kind of like that. This is definitely more hands-on. Something I definitely could have benefited from in high school.
It's definitely a good way to encourage kids to get more into the trade as careers.
Yeah, because they don't get a whole lot of love. I feel like a lot of kids jump straight for like universities or colleges. No one really jumps more towards like trade schools. And if you do, I feel like it's more of a later in life option. Don't get me wrong. A bunch of young people I know, they do jump onto like the whole trade school thing. I know like a handful of people, but the majority seem to think the answer is going straight to like university or college, getting their degree in business or what have you. I don't know. I didn't go to college. There, I said it. But yeah, this is definitely really awesome. And we've gone over several times how escape rooms can be educational and how escape rooms can be... historic was going to be the word I said, but it doesn't really apply here, so we're just going to go with educational. Yeah. They could also be good for advertising. There you go, that's the word I meant for. And we've talked this over and over again, and this is just another great example of how that is. But yeah. Definitely a great trade to get into if you wanted to get into the escape room industry, because as I was saying before, it's almost all of it is electronics, especially all of the puzzles that we have here in Cure Z. Almost every puzzle is electronic. You do something where wires are connected and it's lighting something up or it's opening a certain door. So it's a good way to get into like a creative industry as well.
There's lots you can do with it.
But enough stumbling over myself. I guess we can move on to the next topic, which is... Oh, my mistake. Ubisoft is opening how many? So we all know Ubisoft as a popular gaming industry that have put out a bunch of really popular games. One of the big names being Assassin's Creed. But now they're opening over 200 locations worldwide for a brand new virtual reality escape room based off of the Assassin's Creed franchise. So that is, wow. And this is a very quiet thing. This was very, I think the article started coming out about this as like the rooms were opening. This has been very quiet development. And from what I read in the article as well, these exist in the Assassin's Creed, the game universe, but are different storylines. So this is absolutely...
Can you repeat that?
They exist in the Assassin's Creed universe. So like the story of Assassin's Creed, how all the games and how they progressed, it's everything in that is canonical, but these are kind of like different stories within those universes. Okay. It's a 60-minute experience, and they're completely 100% virtual reality escape rooms. So this is amazing. So let me ask you then, do you feel like we as kind of strictly an escape room business have anything to worry about when big names like Ubisoft start getting into the escape room industry?
I mean, it's just, again, with the themed, it's the same thing as the pop culture themed escape rooms. They're going to make a nice splash for themselves because they get to go off of, like, the fan base, but it's also going to be kind of limited to the fan base because...
That's true.
To an extent.
I mean, Assassin's Creed, with the fan base that they have, it's definitely going to be successful. I know Assassin's Creed has multiple games. I even think they made a movie at one point.
I believe they did. I don't think it did very well.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
I think it was like Avatar.
Oh, rest in peace. But yeah, so this is... And on top of that, there are completely virtual reality escape rooms. And I've been to, like, different virtual reality games at different, like, resorts and arcades and stuff like that. And those aren't really escape room themed. Those are more, like, put on a helmet and walk through pretty scenery, or, like, put on a vest and have, like, a fake toy gun and run around shooting AI programs. This is, you are solving puzzles and moving from, like, room to room, or, like, opening locked doors and stuff like that.
I mean, I feel like it kind of cheats you out of the experience of getting to do it yourself.
A little bit, but I also feel like it can add the extra layer of immersion as well.
I guess it depends how they do it. Like, if it's basically, like, you could have just made this set physically, but you chose to do it in virtual reality, like...
That's true.
Why?
At one point, you have to wonder, like, are they taking a step too far? Because, like, in escape rooms, in a normal escape room where it's, we'll call it an acoustic escape room. You can pick, you feel yourself, like, solving the puzzles. You're holding the locks, you're entering the combinations, you're opening doors and stuff like that. So I have to wonder, with virtual reality experience, do you get that same effect, or is it just kind of like you wave your hand in front of a certain thing and I don't know, pretty lights pop up in front of you?
Yeah. Also, we do have a comment. Viva Todd Vegas. As an owner, I get nervous by VR escape rooms in general. I think once someone perfects the technology, they will be big competition for us.
I can definitely see that. Just because when building a regular escape room, I feel like we're limited to what we can build as far as, like, you know, set design, putting up walls and stuff like that. And we spare no expense and we don't cut any corners. Every game that we have is 100% immersive. You do have that extra step, or rather extra advantage in VR, just because instead of building hand by hand each wall, you know, and setting up the set design, you click a few things and it's more complicated than that, obviously. I don't know enough to, like, go into the details of it, but you have more at your disposal, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for certain themes, I could see VR working much better than a physical room, but at the same time, like, there are certain rooms that I just don't think would do as well in VR. Like scenes that aren't particularly, like, amazing or like a jail cell escape room. That's a pretty common one. Like,
okay, yeah, imagine
you can
that
easily
in VR.
recreate that and make it feel so much more real than I also haven't done too much VR, so maybe I'm mistaken with that, but like, I feel like VR would lend itself to, like, more fantasy and stuff like that, where you can't, or like a jungle escape room where it's a lot harder to create the set for that, but at the same time, like, for other rooms, I feel like it wouldn't work as well.
I feel like it'd be like putting $15,000 rims on a '98 like Toyota Corolla. Like, it's almost unnecessary to do a VR, like, simple escape room. So it would have to be, I feel like, very flashy, very the opposite of simple to be your money's worth anyway. Because I can't imagine these rooms are going to come at cheap. You know, at a base price for ours at $49.99 for our escape rooms, and that's just the 2-hour ultra experience, like with the immersion and stuff like that. I can't imagine, like, how expensive this is going to be.
Well, also, it said in the article it's only for 2 to 4 people, which is really, like, cutting it down. Like,
oh wow, that's it. That's right.
I'm almost positive that's because I just read this article.
Yeah, so they're not, like, opening the window for a whole
so,
lot
like,
of
that
profit.
also, like, cuts down on, like, you can't have a birthday party there. Like, you can't.
No, you can't bring a whole bunch of friends.
Yeah.
It's definitely, like, a very intimate experience, I would say. Just kind of having, like, a small number of people. And then it's going to be hard to, like, really capitalize on that profit, too, unless you jack those prices up.
Yeah.
So that you might...
Especially because you said it's an hour long. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's going to be pretty rough.
I think the one virtual reality thing I did, and it was at a resort here in the Poconos, and it was, you put on the helmet, you have the gun and the vest, and you go through and you shoot AIs and stuff like that. I believe that was, like, maybe 50 minutes an hour, and that ended up costing me, like, $60 a person.
Yeah.
So with this having a brand name on it, I can't even begin to imagine, like, how expensive it's going to be. But the stories they had in mind, like the picture that I have from here in the Twitch on the stream is actually from the game itself. So it looks like they put a whole lot of work into it, and it looks like it's going to look really good. But I don't know if it's going to be 100% worth the experience. And then over 200 locations. I'm still stuck on that. Quietly opening 200 locations worldwide, and I think on their website and on the articles, there's a map of all the locations that they're opening up in.
It's pretty insane. Especially because they said in the article, this is like a team of 20 people working on it. So that's insane for...
20 people opened 200 locations, and that's got to be round-the-clock work. I'm just trying. I'm boggling myself over how do you quietly open 200 locations? How do you do that under the
and
rug?
with the Assassin's Creed name, like that's a pretty big name.
Yeah, people would be looking out for stuff like that. They've put out a large number of games, but they still have a dedicated fan base, and it blows my my mind away that they can just kind of like quietly go to 200 locations and make deals and open these locations and create the sets. And which the sets, have you ever been to a virtual reality game? Do you know what it looks like when you take the helmet off?
No.
So it's crazy. It's just a concrete room with a bunch of taped off boxes, and I guess the boxes are supposed to represent where you are in the game, for the game master to be able to tell like how far you've progressed and stuff like that. So they have to find 200 spaces big enough to fit their hour-long game, 200 contracts that they have to sign. No one posted to social media about this. There wasn't a leak or anything. And I guess they had the advantage, too, being the big company that they are already. It's not like this is a small company that's jumping into these things. This is Ubisoft, and they came into this with money in their pockets already. So maybe it's not that insane. Maybe just because I'm not a business owner or anything like that, it just seems insane to me. But what do you guys think? We have one opinion, and that's an opinion I can actually kind of agree with. But what does everyone else think? Love to hear it in the comments. But if you have nothing else to add...
I'm pretty good.
All right, well then, we're going to hop on to our next topic. Live actors. Something that we're all very versed in. Live actors in haunted houses and escape rooms are old news and an old hat. But the novelty remains to be the favorite of a lot of escape room goers. There's something about a live person being part of an escape room or a game that makes the experience whole. We have this experience with our own game, Boogeyman, and an interesting line with customers and live actors is whether or not they can touch you. In some places, the actor won't touch you, while in others, like Boogeyman, you have a real possibility of being grabbed, being pulled away,
being sucked into the realm forever.
Being sucked into the realm forever. So, I want to get your opinion, because you've worked Boogeyman before, yes? That was your original game. So let's get your opinion here. Have you ever put on the Boogeyman suit?
Of course.
Okay,
so... Did it my first day on the job.
What was that like for you?
That was so fun. So, going off of the, is it safe? As far as for the game masters, it is relatively safe. I'll say that we do have training on, like, how to properly do things so that we don't get hurt. And it's always a two-person job. So one person is on the cameras and communicating with you via walkie-talkie while the other person is in the suit to make sure that no one ever gets hurt or anything happens. However, my first day, I got pegged in the face with a wooden block. Like, those little wooden blocks for kids?
Yeah, oh my god.
Yep, someone got scared and pegged it at my face.
Oh.
Which was like, usually we don't have injuries. We very rarely, unless like the game master does something they're not supposed to do, like, we don't have any injuries ever. But that was a fluke. But
oh my god.
That was a fun first day.
That's the thing that I'm most afraid of, I think, is if I were to ever put on the costume and do live acting. And it's something that we've almost done here at Kiersey a couple times. We've contemplated it. But that's my whole big fear, is because you have that person at the beginning of every game. That's just kind of like, oh, better get out, I'll swing on him.
Yeah, but every single person says that, and for everyone that says it, no one ever gets hit. We know what we're doing.
We know how to weed out the weenies here. So what you're saying is the people who often are like, all right, if anyone touches me, I'm gonna swing. They're the liars then.
Not so much liars, but we our training goes over how to handle situations and how to avoid getting attacked by people. Like, we don't let the boogeyman in the room if there's someone near the door or anything like that.
Okay. For fear of you or them getting hit by the door, I imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is like the training that goes into like being a live actor? Because what are the instructions that come to follow as far as like, do they just tell you like, okay, go scare them? Like, do you just improvise, or are there like...
We have our set of moves that we do. There's actually a list of moves in Red Bank, which is where Boogeyman is, that kind of goes over different ways to scare people. So, like, one of them is a pop-in, where you open a door and you ride them.
Okay.
Another one is I forget the technical names now. It's been a while since I worked in Red Bank. But another one is you stand at the end of a hallway and pop a door open so that they look out and see you down the hallway. But there's a whole bunch of different types of scares that we do.
Okay, so what is... Now, I take you weren't the boogeyman for too long as opposed to like Sam or Chris, because after that you ended up moving to the Morristown location and then eventually the Poconos location, right?
I never moved to Morristown, but yeah.
Well, yeah. Worked out of the Morristown location, rather.
No. I mean, just the usual once a week.
Well, see, I only have half my facts right. So, what is like some of the craziest scares or like reactions that you've seen, say, when either you were the boogeyman or other scares, Sam or Chris or Josh when he was in the suit, or even Tone, because I know he likes to sometimes get in the suit.
Tone's got a lot of stories about this. Tone, drive faster and get here already.
I hope he makes it. Traffic on the way here is absolutely insane. I have no clue what happened.
Standstill. I was supposed to get here at 11:45 and I didn't get here till 12:10.
It was absolutely insane. I think as I'm getting off the exit for the highway, once you get off the exit, it's maybe like a 5-10 minute drive to here. I was maybe online for like 20-30 minutes. It was absolutely insane. And I always get here massively early.
Yeah.
So what are stories you have, though?
So stories, I haven't gotten too many good ones. One of my favorite ones. I also we have a segment called Scares of the Week, where we take footage from games of people getting really scared,
right?
And we compile it into a little short video of all the different scares that happened during the week, or during the period of time. Sometimes they're from a few weeks prior, but we still call it Scares of the Week.
Right.
But one of my favorites, if only we should have prepared for this earlier. I could have given you the clips for it.
Oh, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Where can they find the clips if they want to watch it themselves?
On our YouTube channel, you can see our Scares of the Week, but one of the good ones was this group of 3 teenage boys who were acting like they were tough shit. And what was it? This wasn't when it must have been Sam or Chris, but they were in one of the rooms and they turned the lights off and start playing sound effects, and they pop the door open, and these guys are in mild fear, which means that there's no live actor actually.
Oh, okay.
So
even better.
Yeah. So these 3 boys get scared, get the crap scared out of them. And they are just hiding in the corner screaming, and then they end up climbing under a bed and hiding under the bed, like just peering out from under the bed at the closet, at the door to see when something's going to come in. That was a good one. Where's some other ones? And we've had people, I think we've talked about it before, we've had people pee their pants, poop their pants.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my god. Do you have like protocol for that up there? Just we have a code brown.
It never happened when I was there, thankfully.
You ever hear over the radio? We got a code brown in Cody's room. Can we pause the game real quick?
I can only imagine.
I think I've actually heard the story of someone getting so scared that they pooped themselves, and they didn't find it. It's one of Tom's
favorite stories to tell.
They didn't find it till after the game, right?
Oh no, that was in Witch Hunt.
That was in Witch Hunt?
That was in Witch Hunt.
That doesn't even have any jump scares, I don't think.
No,
oh.
It was just the, I believe it was, there's a clue voice that's very, like, scary, and not scary, but very creepy sounding and very ghosty.
Right.
And they gave a clue, and I think that was what triggered it was an older woman.
Oh, okay. Alright, well I can kind of understand that. We don't have any like scary clues here. I mean, some of the time updates can like startle some of the other players. But we don't have anything like, because we do the voice clues. We don't have like the monitors that have the clues on them with the timer going. Not that there's anything wrong with that. What we have is the voiceovers, speakers that go throughout our entire games that play the hints that are pre-recorded at a time before. At Cure Z, the only one that I've had really any experience with, it's just normal hints. But with games like Witch Hunt and Boogeyman, I can imagine some of those hints are less than friendly.
Boogeyman, it's for the most part okay. For the most part, you're just getting hints from Dr. Claremont. Is that the doctor here?
No, that's Dr. Brannigan.
Okay, so yeah, Dr. Claremont. I can never get all the doctors straight.
We have too many doctors. None of them have
so
PhDs,
it's not really scary. They have fake PhDs, it's fine.
We wrote in that they had PhDs. I really want to get more of a scare factor here at Cure Z, because while it is more action adventure-y themed, it does have that creepy element, and I think we only have the one scare here, and I won't get into too many details of what actually happens, but something opens, and
I'd argue there's two. I screamed both times.
the only one that I would argue is scary is when the one thing opens, and almost every time you get the people like they're backing up, pressed up against the wall, like what's gonna happen now, and we have so many opportunities to have like zombies jump out at people. It's great.
Well, for the week leading up to Halloween, we do have yeah, is that a thing for later?
I mean, I can do it now if you want to, or we can get to it later.
We can get to it later.
All right, we'll get to it later.
We're going to hold that thought for later, but there's something exciting coming at you.
Stick around to the end for all the great updates. So,
but yeah, live actor. What about you guys in the audience? Do you have any live actors in your games? How do they do?
Tell us all about your experience with your live actors, because we'd love to hear them, and it would definitely help us prepare some of the new people we hire for our live acting experiences. So, for final thoughts, to touch or not to touch? At
Boogeyman, we have a rule that basically they have to be over 18 in order to play Full Fear.
Okay.
So that way we're not risking any legal issues with touching. But we do touch at Boogeyman.
So you're not afraid to, like, grab people? Nothing like that?
Nope.
Have you ever had to grab anybody?
Yes.
What'd you do? Tell me all about it.
I've done it a bunch of times. There's one, I don't want to go into too many specifics and give it away, but there's one section where they have to crawl, and we have actually a hole cut out of the wall that they're crawling through, so you can reach through the hole and grab them as they're crawling, which is always a fun one. And then we also like grab people by their feet while they're crawling and try to pull them out.
That's what Tone was telling me about, yeah.
Yeah, we do that. I know people have done stories of sometimes when they open the door to a room, the people are so invested in the puzzles that they don't notice, so they'll just like go up behind someone and just grab their hair or caress their hair a little bit or touch their shoulder.
No, I don't like that.
With like these morph suit hands or the werewolf hands.
I think I could possibly handle someone grabbing me, pulling me around, but I don't think that I could handle like the light touch to the back of the hair or like the back of the... That would freak me out, because that's like walking into a cobweb or something.
Yeah.
No. So how do you feel about touching then? Do you think it's a good method?
It's part of the experience.
Part of the experience. And you argue that with the right training, it's not dangerous.
No. I mean, as far as I know, we've never had any guest injuries, and as far as I know, there's only been one issue where a game master got too aggressive and ended up hurting themselves, but they got a little too excited.
I mean, I guess it's good that they didn't hurt anybody else, right?
No, but yeah, we go through training to make sure that nobody's ever in any danger from touching, so I don't think that that's an issue.
Well, there you go,
I mean,
folks.
It's the same thing as like... Or I guess it's not the same thing as like... I was going to say it's the same thing as like a haunted house where they really don't touch you there, but...
Depends on the haunted house.
Oh, okay.
I think the one we briefly mentioned it when we were shouted out in the Asbury Press article. I'm not too sure if you were here for that one or not, but it was Eastern State Penitentiary that they do here in Pennsylvania, and it's the insane asylum. I believe the actors there can touch you.
Okay, so yeah.
Don't quote me, not 100%, but I do believe that they can reach out and like grab you and like scare you and stuff like that.
So yeah, I mean, Boogeyman is just it's a scary experience. You're getting what you pay for when you play Full Fear. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get this crap scared out of you.
Well, there you have it, folks.
And touching is part of the experience. Like, it's not the same if you don't get dragged into the Boogeyman's realm.
And we do always offer the option for you to not get grabbed if you really don't want to get grabbed.
Yes, we do have mild fear.
So with that, we'll go ahead and scamper on to our next topic. For this next topic, we decided to reach onto our blog articles. Did you know that we have our own blog articles? They're written by the lovely Christina Malmstrom.
Yep.
And this week, we're going to talk about why escape rooms are great for dates. And while we know that escape rooms are great for big groups of friends, parties, or even business groups, did you know that escape rooms are also great for dates as well? Christina did a great job outlining this article, and we're going to talk about some of the cool stuff that she mentioned. As soon as I fix our cameras, they're being a little wonky right now. I apologize.
What's wrong with the cameras?
They're just in a weird position.
Okay.
Your camera is behind the font. Yep.
Perfect.
Exactly.
It's fine.
Right?
Just hide me in the corner.
So here's what we'll do. We're just gonna doop and doop. And now you can see our beautiful faces.
Woo, lucky you.
I think anyone would pay to look at us, Christina. We're adorable. So let's talk about your exciting blog article and where we're going to talk about why why escape rooms are great for dates.
I
was rhyming a little. I was rhyming too furiously. I was really inspired by the late great Dr. Seuss. So you went over a bunch of the do's and don'ts for how to go on an escape room date.
Yeah.
So tell us some about those do's and don'ts.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the article now. I wrote this like 2 weeks ago.
It
was a painful 2 weeks as Mike saw me trying to write this article.
I did. I actually got to help a little bit when writing this article. I actually did use an escape room as a date once. Me and my current girlfriend, we went to one of the other escape rooms here in Stroudsburg, mostly because it'd be weird to play my own game. I already know all the answers. That'd be technically cheating. And it was a great experience. We both had a fun time, but I think we also have an advantage because we were, with each other for a little bit. It wasn't like a first date. So tell us some of the do's and don'ts.
I mean, one of the big don'ts that I thought that I included was don't use it as a first date.
So it's do not do it.
I would not do it. I would definitely, we have seen first dates come to escape rooms, and it's always just really awkward. You can always tell when it's the first date group. They don't really talk. They're not comfortable with each other yet. They just kind of do their own thing, and they never win.
I was gonna say that for a first date, communication would have to be the weirdest thing about it, just because all right, I still have no clue how to talk to this person. What's a great idea? Let's go solve puzzles together.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, it's nice because you don't have to worry about small talk during it, and you don't have to worry about making conversation, but that's what you want the first date to be.
That's true.
You don't want the first date to not be about that.
So definitely save this.
You gotta learn, if you like this human first.
So definitely save this for maybe a second or third date, because that probably would help you pick out a good themed escape room as well.
Yeah.
Imagine you grab your date and you're just kind of I've heard about this amazing escape room down at Trapdoor escape room. It's zombie themed. You tell her that you've already booked the tickets, and she's just oh, I hate zombies.
Oh, that's happened to me before. I used to hate haunted stuff, and the guy wanted to take me to a haunted hayride thing. And I was like, heck no.
No, thank you. So, don't use it as a first date. That is a don't. What else you got?
This also works for not just dates, but just anybody looking to go to an escape room in general, but always go to dinner afterwards. There's always a debate of whether to go to dinner before or after the escape room, and always go after, because it gives you something to talk about.
That's a really good point.
It kind of extends the experience. It makes it last longer, because you get to relive it, talk about it more, and just be with each other. And
it's great, because if you go to dinner after that date at the escape room, you can totally bypass those moments of awkward silence when you don't know what to talk about by just saying, hey, remember that in that escape room when you solved that puzzle? That was really cool that you did that, Yeah. I have an entirely different reason for wanting to go to dinner after an escape room.
You hungry?
Well, that, and mostly because I don't want to waste my time using the bathroom in the middle of the game. You know what I mean? You go to dinner or whatever else, and then you go to an escape room immediately after, and then our escape room, you're locked in for 2 hours, and we tell you oh, you can use the bathroom in the middle of the game.
That also breaks the immersion. It
wastes your time. It's not a good move. So I don't want to be that guy who's in room 3 or 4 solving a puzzle, and then suddenly it's just oh no, I gotta go, but I can't.
Also, Viva Todd Vegas brings up another good point. We had a blind date couple come through one night. The guy was not good under stress and snapped at his date a few times. She would not stand next to him in the photo at the end of the game. So along with first dates, definitely don't do it for a blind date. That's even worse than a first date, I think.
Oh my goodness. I'm not opposed to the idea of a blind date, but in an escape room. No, there's too much communication and teamwork that has to be done. It's a date. It's not a group building project. Oh my goodness. I feel bad for the couple that would have to be put through that, because neither of them are having a good time. I mean, obviously the guy in this scenario was the not cool one for snapping at his date. You never want to snap at somebody in an escape room for trying.
But yeah, that's another thing is don't lose your cool. Like, you want to stay calm under pressure. Like, I get that the stakes are high, there's going to be a lot of pressure, but you want to stay cool. You're not going to look cool if you start snapping at your date while you're trying to solve puzzles for fun.
You see this kind of problem happen a lot, especially in this game. Towards the end of the game, they get to one room, and that's just where you can see all the momentum that the team has built up slowly crumble just because frustration builds. And that's it. It's got to be just the worst thing. I haven't seen it happen. Oh, that's a lie. I did see it happen in one date. It was a married couple. So they've been together for a while. So they're in the room, and it was their first escape room. And actually, just like Diva Todd Vegas said, the husband kind of got a little frustrated and started snapping at the wife just due to that frustration. So you really want to avoid that because bad impressions.
Yeah, just keep your cool. Remember, it's just a game. You're there to have fun. You're not there to... And, like, also, going along those lines, like, don't be afraid to lose. Like, it happens. Like, it sucks, but it happens. Deal with it.
I mean, so many teams, when they lose, they come out with that defeated feeling, and you immediately feel bad for them. But it's just, it's part of the game. You win some and you lose some. No one is perfect, and no one will ever always win an escape room.
Also, I have seen this with dates before. Don't be afraid to ask for hints. Like, you get so many people who are very... just stubborn and very, we can do it ourselves, blah, blah, blah. Like, gotta prove something to the other person. Just ask for a hint. If you're struggling, ask for a hint.
We actually went over this a couple weeks ago. We had a video that I saw on YouTube. It was a top 10 video. And I'll briefly go over it again, where it was this guy. It was a top 10 hints that this guy went to a professor who worked at a college, studied, like, different puzzles and different, like, algorithms, not algorithms, but different codes and stuff like that. And then came up with a top 10 list to help you win every escape room without a clue. And apparently it was worked and proven. Like, he had a team go try a couple different escape rooms and they got out, allegedly. But yeah, no, your game master is your friend. If your game master is giving you a hint, well,
welcome.
I'm watching this amazing show. It's called Puzzle Talk.
What? It's a new show called Puzzle Talk?
Absolutely amazing show. How have you guys never seen this?
In the middle of our own show, there's another Puzzle Talk show. Amazing! Guys, say hello to our fearless leader, Tone, as he gets all set up. I'm going to go ahead and trade places with him.
That's fine. You stay right where you are.
Oh, you know what?
I'm the guest.
Oh, you're the... You're looking all snazzy, too.
I always look snazzy.
Here, I'll go ahead and adjust the camera. Get
I'm
you
just a
both
snazzy guy. So, I was listening the whole way. There was a massive accident on Route 80 on the way here. There was a car literally in a ditch.
Oh my god. I must have missed it.
Flipped sideways.
Oh, I hope
so, anyway, we just saw in Red Bank a major date issue.
Really?
Yeah, and I am not afraid to call these people out because they ruined the time of another group of 8 that drove an hour and a half to play Boogeyman.
Oh no.
Because of all the hype they heard about Boogeyman.
Right.
And so it's a group of 8, and they get mixed in with this one couple who had played with us a couple months ago. And they were with another group, and they wanted, like, unlimited hints wasn't enough hints.
Oh my god.
They wanted, like, every 30 seconds hints.
Okay,
and
I see.
It was problematic then, but we tried to save the situation. We offered them the opportunity to come back for a private game, all by themselves, with unlimited hints.
Okay.
All they had to do was call, and we would book it for them. So,
awesome.
Saturday comes around for the 6:30 showing, where we had 8 people booked for the last month now. They went online and booked themselves.
Oh, goody.
Joined that group. Now, this group had played like 25-something games. They were here to play.
Okay.
Sam and Chris were there. They were the ones at, the helm of Red Bank that night. And were more than trusting that they would do anything they could to, make the solution the best it can be. So I get a text message from Chris. We have a problem. This woman's sitting in the corner with her arms folded, and she is not having it, and she is mad because the other group wants to really play the game, and she wants hints, 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 and more hints. and her poor boyfriend or husband, whatever he may be, was just quietly in the corner. So this is not a good date night option for them.
No, I would probably for them skip out on doing escape room dates in the future.
And her attitude towards the whole thing didn't just ruin his time, it ruined the time for the other 8 people. So we had our hands full trying to make up for that, because obviously their total time was 4 hours. The game was an hour. They drove an hour and a half to get there and an hour and a half to go back.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 hours they can't get back.
Oh, man. So definitely avoid ruining the experience for other people. When you work as a team, you have to work as a team.
Cookie?
Oh, okay.
I'm good, thank you. So while Tone enjoys his cookie, we're going to talk about some of the other do's and don'ts for escape dates. What else do you have for us, Christina?
What else do I have? Don't hog the puzzles. Don't be a puzzle hog.
Don't be a puzzle hog. I love this topic a lot because I came up with it. So when you say don't hog the puzzles,
share the puzzles. Don't be that person that insists on solving every single thing and like won't let the other person even look at the puzzle.
You always see that person that does try to like strongman the group, just kind of like, all right, we're looking for this. What'd you find? Give me it. I need to look at it. All right, everyone give me everything.
Well, we see in corporate groups too that most times the loudest person is the least influential of the group. That, you know, it's the person who has nothing to offer other than the volume of their mouth.
That makes a lot of sense, because generally the people who end up solving the puzzles are the quiet person,
Yep.
and the loud person's like, how'd you figure that out?
They're busy solving the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's, you know, like the person solving the puzzle is like, you know, someone in the group will be like, maybe we should try, you know, putting the digits together. And then all of a sudden you're, you know what, guys? We should put the digits together. Come on, let's get it together.
Yep. My favorites are always after we give the hints, because we were talking about we have the pre-recorded hints. So we'll say something like, put them in this order. And then that loud person is just yelling, we gotta put them in this order, guys. I just figured it out. We gotta put them in this order. So, don't be a puzzle hog. Share the wealth. Everyone's trying to have a good time. Anything else you want to add for the do's and don'ts?
I would say also pass the stuff around. Because being a puzzle hog isn't just vocal.
That's true. You could be holding on to pieces that like other people might not know about.
Yeah.
Like how many, or I don't know if I should say, but a lot of people take a very important piece from Cure Z and just put it in their pocket and then forget
exactly
about
what you're
it.
talking about. In
And
the
just
first
walk
room
around
they get
with
in.
it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they have no clue. They're trying to figure out, like, what's the code? What's the code? You got to do this. Oh, I have this.
Yeah.
How long have you had that?
Yeah. That puzzle was broken. No, your teammate had the prop in their pocket for the last 40 minutes.
It happens so often.
And then there's just the people that, I don't know if you'd consider this a hog, but it's the people that they're so adamantly in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like, whenever I play in a group and my wife Jess is with us, hey, honey. There's a famous story where, like, she almost made one of our team members cry.
Oh, I gotta hear this.
We were playing Kamnata Quest in New York.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think that location is no longer operational. I think they closed down. And the element was, it was a horror game.
Right.
And there was a sink in a corner of a room. And she had said earlier on, you know, like, you know, person A, go check. I don't want to shout out names because, you know.
Of course.
You know, go check the sink. So they checked the sink, but not well. Fast forward, a little bit of time goes by. We've exhausted all options.
Mm-hmm.
She rechecks the sink and pulls out in the, what's it called? The catcher?
Drain stop.
The drain stop, yeah.
Underneath it, there was a key.
Oh, my
Connected
God.
to the bottom. And she's like, you know, like, she went off. And, like, that guy just shut down the whole rest of that game.
Oh, my God.
It was over. It was over. But then she got hers when we played their heist game, and there was a laser maze, and my wife is quite large-chested and could not go through the lasers.
That,
We all left her behind.
I guess I'm sorry to hear that.
All the girls were on one end of the room, and all the guys were solving the next puzzle because the other girl, Dana, was also a little bit larger up there, and they couldn't get through.
So unfortunate. Oh my god.
It was so funny.
I don't even know what to say to that. That's fucking hilarious. Do you have anything else to add to the do's and don'ts?
Last one, we've talked about this before. Don't make a move in the escape room. Everything is camera and audio wired.
Are you telling me those beds in Boogeyman
oh my god,
aren't
no.
to make moves? Why else would you put a bed in a game?
It's a children's bed.
You got me there.
Yeah, but children's beds are like at the perfect height.
Oh my god.
Those beds are made of wood.
That's fair. That is fair.
We didn't even find them in the beds. They were behind one of the zombie chambers.
Oh, that one couple, yeah. Yeah.
We, every rule that we have in the game, we have for a reason.
This is true.
But, so those are all... I'm sorry. So that's everything we have for the do's and don'ts of an escape date. What do you think? Do you think you would take your date on an escape room? Do you think they would react well? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear all about it. Moving on to our next string of topics, which are all Trapdoor related directly. The first one is going to be Trap or Treat, coming to every Trapdoor escape room. Go ahead and move on over. 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., all locations, kids under 13 in full costume on Halloween. Take a tour through all of our games.
You basically get a walkthrough of the game, yeah.
I had my description in front of me. I was about to start reading it. You beat me to it.
We thought this would be a neat alternative. You know, we've seen such a shift of how many kids go trick-or-treating nowadays.
It's very, very minimal these days, I'd say, yeah.
If anything, the streets of America are safer now than they've ever been. And yet, parents are afraid to let their kids go trick-or-treating. Now, as a dad, I get it. People are always looking for alternatives of safe places to take the kids. Mm-hmm. Where, even on one note, there's even just the elimination of the worry of where did Johnny go.
Yeah, because you're in an enclosed space.
Right. So, trunk or treat was a big thing over the last couple years. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody shows up at a parking lot, pops the trunks, and there's candy in the trunks.
Yep, I think my elementary school did it for years. They've been doing it.
It's kind of lame.
A little bit.
So this year we designed Trap or Treat. Shamelessly plugging Trapdoor.
Tell us a little more about Trap or Treat.
Trap or Treat is quite simple. The kids can show up in costume, completely free. We are not charging in any way, shape, or form for this. This is us just giving the kids in the community something to do. A safe place to have some fun in a themed environment.
Okay.
No, they're not going to be able to play the games in their full designed puzzle structure. We're kind of taking them through a snippet with a guided tour storyline. And eventually they will find a creepy character that is connected to the story of the game. We had to stretch a little with Freak Show, although it wasn't that difficult. Just going to be a creepy clown.
Yeah.
But you find that character, and that character is waiting with a bucket of candy. And the kids get to get their candy and move on through. And then the next group comes through, and the next group. And it's pretty much walkthrough oriented. We've cycled, since we're lucky enough to have such large themes, we're playing it where they'll kind of cycle on through entrance to exit. They won't be free roaming back like they would in the normal game.
How long is each kind of walkthrough gonna be? Because normally the game is 2 hours, so we're obviously gonna condense it.
It depends on the game. I'd say like 15 to 20 minutes.
So you definitely get a lot of different groups going through.
Yeah. It's just a fun alternative thing to do, to get some candy, have some stories to tell, take some cool selfies, and, mark that as part of your Halloween.
Well, there you go, folks. Trap or Treat at every Trapdoor location. Once again, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., kids under 13 are welcome. Come in full costume. Embrace the Halloween spirit. And for our next plug that we're going to have is our Boogeyman competition. Boogeyman haunts Trapdoor. Go ahead and get my notes out here. And we'll move on to where we can see all of our beautiful faces. From October 25th to November 2nd, Boogeyman Full Fear is going to be available at every Trapdoor location. Springing off our Halloween 2019 Boogeyman contest. Can you face full fear when the Boogeyman comes for you? Visit any Trapdoor location between October 25th and November 2nd. Is there an echo in here? For a chance to come face to face with fear itself. Catch a photo of the Boogeyman and any of his frightful incarnations for a chance to win a Trapdoor Season Pass. Tom, what's a Trapdoor Season Pass?
Well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a pass that gets you into every single Trapdoor experience that we offer with a 1-year timetable. So basically, it's 12 free games.
12 free games.
Those games, however, can be optioned towards any of the 2-hour games, the 1-hour games, Puzzles and Corks themes. If we offer it in-house, by all means, take part.
So that's everything that the free season pass covers. How do you play the game? Well, normally we object to people bringing their cameras and phones into most of the escape rooms, as we don't want puzzles to be spoiled for future players. However, catch a picture of the Boogeyman at any of these locations and post it to Trapdoor Escape Room with the hashtag Boogeyman19 for a chance to win these season passes.
It should be fun.
I'm really excited.
It's a short time period,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially, regardless of the game, I mean, doesn't matter where or when, Boogeyman could strike anywhere, anytime. He just travels through closets, so, I mean, there's closets everywhere.
I'm both excited and a little nervous just to have the live actor come into every location. We briefly covered live actors earlier on in the stream and how either scary or fun they could be.
Yep.
So I'm both excited to possibly don the suit, and I'm also a little nervous.
It's, well, the Boogeyman doesn't need anyone to don a suit. He's a supernatural specter.
Of course.
He comes and goes as he pleases. So, this isn't, don't worry about playing a Trapdoor experience during that week and thinking that you're going to, for example, get ripped under a bed. If you're playing Boogeyman, sure.
Yes.
But in things like Freak Show, Cure Z, Witch Hunt, those are not going to be the instances.
Okay.
This is more about just the fun competition and a jump scare here and there. It's more about that uneasy, unsettling, is he or, is the Boogeyman going to show? And if the Boogeyman does, are you prepared to catch that snapshot to win the free season pass?
So every time you come to a Trapdoor experience between October 25th and October 2nd, you come with your phone and you be ready to snap a picture of the Boogeyman. We still ask that you don't take pictures of any of the puzzles, but look out for the Boogeyman. That's what you want to capture. And finally, we're going to move on to our last topic of the day. You've been invited. We are really excited to announce the press release this Wednesday of our game, the Raven Guild. Resurrect our founder for the Raven Guild that comes next door to our Morristown location at the Horseshoe Tavern. In the Raven Room, we have open bar and food options, and it's dinner and a show. Now, the Raven Guild, Christina, has become kind of your baby the past few weeks. How excited are you, and what can you tell us about the Raven Guild that we can know now?
It's going to be a fun experience. There's a lot of really new puzzles that we're doing that we haven't tried before, so it's going to be pretty interesting.
I would definitely say as a shout out too, because when Raven Guild was designed, Raven Guild has had a history of about a year. A year ago, we were going to design this game for Horseshoe Tavern, and the stars didn't align. But we already had a lot of the concept done, so at the time it was Frank and I heading up all the creative elements. So we ended up designing that game as a Puzzles and Corks theme.
Mm-hmm.
And it
has
has
part
been,
1 and 2, right?
Yeah, it was divided into a part 1 and a part 2 because we already had a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also then used every once in a while for Trapdoor events when we would go off-site for team building. However, this year, the stars realigned, and we were able to make the deal happen. So that meant it needed to be fully realized as what it was initially intended. I have not had to put all that much of my own time into Raven Guild. This really has been spearheaded by Christina and Mike DiLorenzo.
Morristown, Mike.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mike in Morristown for putting together what is hopefully going to be one of our greatest games coming to Horseshoe Tavern.
It's really good, and it's very precise. Every I was dotted, every T was crossed. This game is very, very well flushed out. Mike and Christina made an exceptionally good creative partnership on this. Even when they didn't see each other for days, it was still moving forward, and everyone did, they both did their part, which is something I haven't been able to say till this point. So it really just moved.
What can you tell us as far as like setting the tone for the story of the Raven Guild?
So if you know anything about things that a lot of our team is interested in, you could figure out Raven Guild pretty quick. The leader of the Raven Guild bears some similarities to characters like Ra's al Ghul in Batman. The immortal resurrection elements and coming back crazy and things to that effect.
Ra's al Ghul, quote unquote, is pictured here in the corner.
Lucretia St. John, yeah. And we had gone out to a long-standing friend of ours, Caitlin Overton, who does a ton of work with stage theater, immersive theater. She runs she's partners in a theater company called No Dominion. And every time we have a role, there's like two people we go to every time. Caitlin and Sarah. Sarah was the ghost in Windward Hotel. Caitlin was the wife of the couple on their honeymoon in Windward Hotel.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And both of these two were incredibly exceptional actresses. So we always go to Caitlin. However, Caitlin was unavailable due to some prerequisite stuff, or not prerequisite, but some pre-casted and in production things. However, she did bring in a friend that she recommended to us, and we hired in, and she tested fabulous, and she did an incredibly good job. This is not like Resurrection, Wake Up, and The Exorcist. Although an exorcism's part of the story, do not expect like the your mother. It's not.
It's not exactly the exorcism of Emily Rose.
It might have more in common with that than like The Exorcist, though.
Fair enough.
Lucretia returns from the dead, but her body is inhabited by other demons that she was in hell with. And it's going to be the guild's job to cleanse her of those demons. So it gets dark.
We also have here for the open bar and food options. What can you tell us about that? This is at the Horseshoe Tavern, but the patrons are not expecting to go in and get bar food, are they?
There is a pub food package.
Okay.
We did that just in case people wanted a lower cost option.
Okay.
However, a big part of designing this wasn't just designing the game. It was making sure everything was in theme. Augustus, our composer, did a full original composition for the entire show.
We got to kind of preview that the last time we were in together, and it sounded amazing.
So there's like 3 hours of original music that'll play throughout the experience, and a lot of it is themed to the progression of the game. So it was really fun seeing that come to life, and he did an exceptional job, I will say that. And then even the atmosphere. The wardrobe of not just the guests but us. Everyone in attendance will be wearing a Raven Guild mask. Everyone will be in black formal. So we're all kind of like ready to see how this looks in the room together. We have a dress rehearsal tomorrow night. So we're super excited about that. And then Wednesday, we'll be doing rehearsals all day with myself, you, and Chris.
Yep, so if you're looking forward to the Raven Guild, I'll be there, Tone will be there.
And then the food. So like one of the really super cool things, we're not obviously revealing the recipe, but when you walk in for a press night, there will be a bartender waiting on the floor with a table of special jet black champagne glasses.
Ooh.
So what is in there that makes it jet black? Who knows? But it's a special Raven Guild formula. And they'll, so there's themed drinks, and the food is very tailored to the high society concept. So, we're not talking about mozzarella sticks and chicken fingers. We're talking more like, salmon, scallops, steak. It's a much more elite package, yeah. If you can, do the elite package.
Definitely would probably help with the immersion and stuff, really get you into the character of the whole game. Press release happens this Wednesday. Myself and Tone will be there. I'll be shaved for the occasion, so I'm really excited. And I believe that covers all the topics we have. Puzzle Talk airs every Monday at what p.m. I'll be here. Christina will be here. Tone will be here, probably announcing the show next week.
I don't know. Mike did a pretty good job. What do you guys think out there in the chat room? Let us know if you want Mike hosting.
I mean, I am adorable. And I wear the merch.
And he wears the merch.
It Takes Brains, available at every Trapdoor location or at our website, trapdoorescaperoom.com. So every Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard, we hope to see you then.
And if you book a streaming show on Trapdoor Escape Stream, more often than not, Mike will probably be your host.
I will be your host as I'm going in right now into our editing apps and spearheading all of our our live streaming stuff. I'm getting a lot of stuff really awesome on camera and set up. I can't wait. If we have our Escape subscribers out there, I can't wait to play these games with you guys. So with nothing else to add, we'll see you guys next week.
See you later.